Hi, how are you? Getting on alright? Yeah, I'm not even meant to be here, you know. I'm the forensic psychologist. This is completely out of my depth. I'm not meant to be at a crime scene. I'm meant to be making sure my client, Mr. Linney, is competent to stand trial. Which he is. It's fine. It's all fine. All good. Okay, let's examine the white line of the dead body. This is where... Oh, okay. This is where the magic box was struck. If Cowell weren't inside the box at that moment, he might have dodged to the falling water tank. That's the white line of the dead body. Come on. Yeah, okay, you didn't need to tell me. I didn't need to do an examination to figure out that if Cowell wasn't inside the box that was struck by the water tank, and he wouldn't have been struck by the water tank. I know that I'm not the one that goes to the crime scenes, but even I could tell you that, okay? There are multiple things here that aren't definitely the clues, but there was somebody there! There was somebody there and they disappeared, I swear. Okay, the broken magic box was left on the scene after the guards completed their investigation. Have they completed their investigation, though? Anyway, looking at it now, the water tank must have struck it really hard. This is some... water is wet. Yeah, this is some wonderful examination, Lumin. You are amazing at this. Ah, okay. Oh, let me guess. The rope was burned. There must have been some kind of fire involved. Fireworks was also fire. Tell me.
So this is the rope that broke and caused the water tank to fall.
Yep.
The rope looks pretty durable. How can it be burned through so quickly by fireworks?
I forgot Paimon was wearing that. She just turned around and she was wearing it. This is gonna kill me. See, it's what I was saying in the last video. I don't think it's the fireworks that caused it. You said so either Linny didn't realise this was a safety concern, or... Yeah, I don't think... There's not enough evidence to prove that it was the fireworks that caused the rope to burn.
Why are you suddenly so serious, Traveler?
I don't think the fireworks are the correct source. I'm just looking at where the rope was snapped.
Whoa. Look! This bit is made from different material.
Oh.
Most of it was burned away, but there's still a little bit of it left.
Oh, so it was the fireworks that caused it, but the rope was tampered with. Yeah, okay, that's not really evidence that absolves Linny, though, is it? But it doesn't prove anything either, so... so it seems to be flammable, like a type of flash cotton.
Huh. So if a rope meant to hold something was made with that kind of material in it, then that means... Wait, why don't you write all this down? Let's take notes.
The rope was used to suspend the water tank. It suddenly broke when the fireworks were being launched on stage. The investigation has shown that the location where the rope snapped was made of flammable material. Okay, so I had the right idea, but the wrong... along the right avenue, but with the wrong details. But listen, I still got it, okay? That it was not that simple. Someone has tampered with this rope, then. Are there steps off stage? I don't want to jump, I want to experience it properly. Okay, was there a backstage over there? Oh my god, there is a backstage. I'm not allowed to leave though. I thought that Vals was a person. Did that not count as a clue? Okay. Okay, we'll go. Hang on. Okay. Oh, okay. So, in 3 different areas of the opera house, and I haven't finished looking at the clues yet. How am I gonna know what I've examined and what I haven't? Okay, so I've investigated that. Why is nothing like
Whoever the murderer
counting?
was, they must have made preparations well beforehand.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
Him. How strange.
Yeah, it wouldn't be here. I've just seen the icon. This is my favourite Archon quest so far. Oh my god.
This rope was obviously tampered with.
That's what I'm saying. I'm so confused by what I'm supposed to be doing here. Okay, I'm jumping off. I don't care. I assume that I have to investigate this. Yeah, examine the magic box. It looks like an ordinary box, but Linny somehow moved instantly from the stage to being inside of it. How did he do it? I wonder if there's like... No, there wouldn't be, but like, I'm imagining tunnels underneath it or something. Like, I'm sure that that's the reason Linny was talking to us from inside the box on purpose. To keep us distracted from something. No, but he like opened the box, didn't he? And then he... Look, how he did it is not important to the case, okay? I'm definitely not doing something right. Oh! I'm supposed to press things! I get it. Okay, yeah, so I can clear that now. Okay, I get it. I think. Look, it's been okay, it's been hours, but it's late and I'm tired. It's not that late, it's like 9 o'clock. Okay, yeah, so I've investigated these 3 things. There's something... Oh, I need to talk to you. Hello. Hi, Maurice.
Hello there. What are you investigating?
Oh, this location has also been cordoned off because the Magic Troop members are currently considered prime suspects. The investigation team is still collecting evidence. The seats were all booked in advance, so we were able to deduce the missing woman's identity by checking the guest list.
Can you tell us who she is? We're Linny and Lynette's attorneys for some reason.
Sure. It's not like this is confidential information. We will publish it later anyway when we petition the public to help us find the missing person. Her name is Halsey. She's a painter from Fontaine who's made a bit of a name for herself. Apparently, she wasn't a regular at the Opera House, but she'd been feeling some pressure with her work lately, which made her decide to come see the magic show.
I have to ask why it's immediately being assumed that this woman is linked to the whole missing women's case. Because you have to have more of a connection than just, oh, they're all women. Like, I get being cautious, but it's a bit much to accuse Linny and the Magic Troop of all the missing women as well, because one woman went missing. Because, like, okay, but does she match the MO of all of the others? This is important information that Linny's attorneys need to know.
The Magic Troop members all claim not to know her. We have looked into her social connections. It seems that she has no personal grievances or conflicts of interest with the suspects. Simply put, she wasn't related to the magic troupe at all, which matches the features of the previous serial disappearances.
So all of the women are connected on the sole basis that they aren't related to the magic troupe. That's a weirdly specific link.
Were the victims of previous cases also chosen at random?
That's how it seems to us, in any case. Apart from the fact that they were all young women of around the same age range, there really weren't any other connections between them.
Okay then.
Thanks for letting us know all this.
No need to be so formal. If you do happen to see the missing girl, please be sure to contact us.
Obviously, this is part of an investigation.
To the bottom of these disappearances.
As part of the investigation, if you happen to find something that is pertinent to the investigation, do be sure to investigate it. Information about the missing lady's identity. Halsey, he said how it's pronounced, and I can't remember, is the missing person. She's a famous painter and came to watch the magic show in order to take a break from her own creative work. If she's a famous painter, though, are any of the other missing women also famous? Because, like, that's a risk to take to capture somebody well known. She isn't known to have been entangled in quarrels with any of the members of Linny's magic troupe. Paimon's face. Okay, I'm checking you off. Okay. The fact that this is still 0 out of 3 concerns me. How much do we have to investigate? What am I investigating here? What's here? Oh, you. I just need to talk to people. Okay, hi. I can do
I see that you're
interviews.
investigating the area. Well, it just so happens that I'm interested too.
Sorry about the volume
any new
thing.
and interesting leads, be sure to share them with me, all right?
Absolutely, we're all in this together.
We don't have too many thoughts yet.
Bye.
Then why don't I tell you my hypothesis first? The way I see it. And I'll start it with that loud thud.
I'd forgotten about the loud thud.
Oh, you mean the sound that happened during the countdown?
Yes, exactly. It wasn't terribly loud, but I suspect that most people heard it. It's just that everyone was awaiting the results of Linny's trick with bated breath, so no one paid it much mind. But now that the incident has happened, the thud has become an important clue.
So it can technically be argued that Linny was diverting attention away from something he knew would make noise through kidnapping, so on and so forth. This is tiring. I'm not getting anywhere with proving him innocent. They're not getting anywhere with proving him guilty either. So this is exactly why you need more than a day before you go to trial. We need to bear the thud in mind, though.
Sense. So, what do you make of it?
I love that no one's
I'm of
paying
the
attention
opinion that
to
it may have been the sound
Paimon's
of Linny's
thing.
accomplice, Lynette perhaps, jumping atop the water tank or something like that. And when the pyrotechnics went off, she cut the rope, sending the water tank crashing down.
And so then where was she?
Wasn't the noise we heard too loud for that?
Perhaps the balance wasn't right, leading to a particularly rough landing.
Then wouldn't the water tank have started to swing a bit in that case? Also, I think that we'd be able to, well, maybe not us personally, but you'd be able to tell the difference between a rope that's been burned and a rope that's been cut. It would leave different, edges behind. So whoever's investigating that rope needs to really examine exactly how it was separated and whether it was indeed definitely burned, which we've established that part of the material was flammable, which it shouldn't have been, so clearly it was tampered with. But then, would it have been tampered with to look like it's been tampered with through burns, but actually it was cut? No. that's too many twists. Too many twists. Won't the water tank have started to swing a bit in that case?
Oh, that's true. I suppose I must reconsider.
Yeah, the rope was definitely tampered with to burn easier.
Paimon, though. What was with that sound?
We need to bear that in mind. Strange sound during the magic show. During the switching performance, there was an audible thump that many audience members heard. Oh, that was a 1. Is it in different areas of the opera house then that I need to, Oh. Oh, you guys. Oh, it's you too. Okay. Talk to us.
Still talking to the guards. It seems he'll have a lot of explaining to do. I think someone will be assigned to monitor us later, but that's alright.
I'd say you have nothing to worry about because you didn't do it, and so you're not going to go down for it, but, like, I have no faith in Fontaine's justice system.
Lenny's still talking
Oh,
to the
okay.
I think so.
I thought you were a thing to investigate, though. Okay. Fine. What's... Oh, I'm supposed to go outside. Okay, fair enough. Am I allowed out here?
Hey, you! Yes, both of you! Over here! I've been keeping an eye on you for a while now.
Navia, right?
That's right. If I'm not mistaken, you're also among those who wish to cut down the thorns and pursue the truth. No? And by the looks of it, you're not from Fontaine.
An astute observation.
About that one, but who are you?
Have you never heard of the Spina di Rosula?
No.
From mediating disputes and providing protection to solving conundrums, you name it, Spina di Rosula does it. And I, Navia, have the honor of being its renowned president. Though those who play by our rules call me boss.
I'm Silver, her attendant. Pleased to meet you.
And I'm Melus. Demoiselle's various daily needs and affairs are under my purview.
Huh? Boss? Demoiselle? What gives with the names?
Well, I am the second generation president. Melus and the others are still used to my previous title.
My apologies, Demoiselle. Should you prefer, boss, I will endeavor to use that instead.
No, no need. You don't have to call me boss. Just Navia is fine.
Okay, if you say so. Not that we're members of Spina di Rosula anyway.
All merely trifling details. Never mind. Now, back to the situation at hand.
So you want to investigate as well? Are people in Fontaine allowed to just, like, walk into a crime scene and investigate?
That's right. I've always kept an eye on the serial disappearance cases. My interest stems from a matter back from my father's time. Judging from the look of things, I find Linny an unlikely mastermind.
Yeah, same.
Really? We think so too! That's why we're looking for clues now. But how did you come to that conclusion?
Intuition, naturally. My unparalleled intuition.
Alright then.
Farina
Fair
was
enough.
quick to point the finger at Linny without any decisive evidence whatsoever, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. I'm glad you agree.
But that's not uncommon for her. If you remember, the Justice had to interrupt her and ask if she was pressing charges just to keep her from getting carried away. Anyway, a trial begins the moment someone levels charges. And, of course, there was no way Farina was going to back down in that situation.
Sounds more like you just don't trust the Hydro Archon.
I mean, do any of us trust the Hydro Archon at this point?
What's your opinion? I'm must admit that she can be interesting at times. But liking her doesn't mean that I'll blindly agree with her.
When you put it like that, I think you have a fabulous point.
All right, I've answered your question. Now, it's time you answer mine.
Wait a minute, did that answer count?
Well, I say it does. But don't worry, you won't hear any pointless questions from me. In your opinion, do you think it's right to treat a trial like it's an opera?
Absolutely not. But like,
Well,
far be it from me to go to a new place and start shitting all over the culture, but like, no.
And why would that be?
Doing so makes it easy for the truth to fall by the wayside. Something serious like a trial shouldn't be treated like entertainment. Oh, a hard agree on both of those statements. We should not. Why is it a thing that we can sit? I'm talking about in real life, that we can sit and just watch a trial and like memes can come out of the trial and jokes and everything. Meanwhile, the actual people involved are like completely just have had their entire lives just turned upside down, but we're sat here watching the trial, like laughing and joking and memeing. And why is that a thing? That's so weird. But anyway, yeah, I'm not.
See, Silver and Maloose?
We shouldn't watch trials for entertainment. I
Most
mean,
astute of you, demoiselle. I too think that the traveler's response was most excellent.
no, because there's a difference between like watching a trial for entertainment and watching a trial for education, and like, you know, sitting and watching a live trial is different from like watching a piece of a trial when you're watching a true crime thing. I don't know what I'm saying. No entertainment.
No matter how wonderful the script or how fervent the audience's expectations may be, the trials that go on stage here must be based in fact. And if that can be done, boss, then...
All right, that's quite enough, Maloose. Anyway, I like your answer. You passed with flying colors. Now, I need to make some preparations, following which our joint investigation shall commence. You two shall be my assistants.
I'm just the forensic psychologist here, you know.
we become assistants.
I better be getting paid for all of this. I'm very busy.
I can be the assistant, sure. Or your companion, if you like. I'm really not that fussy.
That's more like it.
I think you're missing the point, Paimon. Seems you've already agreed then.
Far be it from me to brag, but I believe that Demoiselle's intuition will be instrumental in uncovering the truth.
Okay, but intuition is not admissible in court.
You wish to save a friend from false accusations, and we wish to unravel the disappearances. In this sense, our goals are aligned.
You have a point. You're quite the talker, aren't you, mister? And what about you over there? What do you think? You seem like you've got something on your mind.
I have nothing to add.
Oh, alrighty then.
We'll be making some preparations first. Just be sure to let us know if they start revealing Lenny's tricks. Thanks!
Okay, bye. Can I mark this as a thing that we've done now? No? Okay, there's more to investigate. Okay. Oh, you! Hello!
Sorry, but no one can freely enter or exit the Opera House at the moment. If you wish to leave, you must register your identity with us first.
No, we're not leaving. We're representing Linny and Lynette as attorneys, so we're investigating the case. Were you always guarding this entrance?
Yes, after the Chief Justice gave the order, everyone coming in or out must undergo a strict inspection. So, the missing girl couldn't have left from here. At least, not from that point on.
Interesting, because the order was given quite quickly, unless she was kidnapped straight away, and then an entire minute would have passed. What about during the show?
I doubt there was much opportunity then either.
How can you be so sure,
Well, because I was in charge of security near the entrance at that time. I couldn't see Linny's performance from here, which was quite a shame. Just my luck. But still, I did not abandon my post, and I stayed put no matter how loud the applause was. If someone had so much as even approached the door, I would have noticed it, let alone if they had tried to leave. We Melazines are good at that sort of thing, you know.
So,
Why does her voice sound familiar?
left through here.
Why does her voice sound familiar? Also, are you implying that the missing girl is still here? Or that there's some kind of secret exit that we don't know about? Or is there a back door?
Thank you for your help. This will be useful info.
Thank you, I need to find out who your voice actor is. No one left the opera house during the magic show, and after the incident happened, only those who had their identities cleared by the guards could leave. Okay, so what is the last thing? Down there still. Have I not looked at everything down there? I swear I have. Unless I'm supposed to speak to you. It's probably that, isn't it? I'm probably just supposed to speak to you. I'll cry if that's the case. No, you're marked as having been done. So what am I... Who am I supposed to speak to? I'm confused. I'll approach everybody and see if I can speak to anybody. You're showing it as being here, but I've looked at everything, haven't I? Yeah, the rope. I've done the rope, and I've done this, and I've done that, and I've done you. I'm confused. It's showing me as being in the right area. Am I supposed to talk to you?
The investigation team has some new findings. Turns out there's an issue with the random number selector after all.
Oh no.
See, I told you. What if the machine picked some big guy's seat? You think the murderer would have still made his move then?
Sorry to interrupt, but we're helping Linny and Lynette with their side of the investigation. What were you saying about the number selector? There's something wrong with it?
That was tampered with too, wasn't it?
That'll be a tall order.
We've just
Lenny
started.
used the machine to pick a random member of the audience during his performance, right? The lucky girl that later disappeared. Well, we thought there might be a serious problem with the machine, so we had it taken away for further inspection.
How have you had the
Turns out
time?
the seat number it picked wasn't random at all. The machine picks that same number every time. I'm sure you already know that you have to make a reservation in advance to get a seat, regardless of whether it's a trial or some performance. In other words, Linny knew who would be sitting where from the very beginning.
That much checks out. Linny reserved our seats for us too.
Bet you see why I was saying it'd be tough to make a case for Linny.
It is going to be tough to make a case for Linny, isn't it? I feel like we're just going to have to rely on the fact that they have no hard evidence that it was Linny. They have nothing tying, it's all... I mean, it doesn't look good, but you can't commit somebody on the basis that it doesn't look good. Thanks, sorry to bother you.
Even though it's bad for Linny's case, Paimon had better write it down.
Oh, where's Bingo when you need him? Being a defense lawyer is hard. I want to go back to being a forensic psychologist. This device was used during Linny's magic performance to choose a lucky member of the audience. However, the guards have found that it will generate the exact same number no matter what. Clearly, someone has tampered with it. Yeah, someone has tampered with it, not necessarily Linny.
We've checked everything of note here at the performance venue. Paimon wonders how Linny's discussion with the guards is going. Let's go see, shall we? Ooh, things are getting interesting, huh? We're about to see how magic is made.
I have a bad feeling about all of this.
Understood.
Hi, Linny.
Then I will be going with you. Just so you're aware, I will be monitoring your actions and making notes as necessary.
Very good. Thanks for being so agreeable. I'd pull a rose out of my hat as a gift for you if I could.
You may spare the pleasantries. I'm just doing my job.
You've arrived. Who's this?
Me? I'm Spina di Rosula's guardian angel. If you've got a problem, I've got the firepower. Sorry, I got a little carried away there. Call me Navia. I'm a partner of theirs, and will be helping investigate this whole situation. And these are my companions. Would you mind if they join as well?
Fine by me.
Oh, new helpers? I would be most grateful.
Well, let's just say we're tagging along. It's not every day you get to see the secrets behind magic performed on such a large scale.
I appreciate your kind interest. Come with me. We'll be heading below stage.
Huh? Below stage?
Yes, a world of secrets is hidden beneath this magic box, prepared specifically for this switcheroo trick.
Tunnel.
But before I reveal everything,
I'm telling you.
You should have a look first. Notice anything strange here?
Do we?
I'm not trying to be dramatic. Remembering the details of a trick will help you understand the methods used to perform it more easily.
Huh. Weren't there balloons and other decorations here? Where did all that go?
Ah, good eye. That said, you're still far from discovering the answer.
The back of the door isn't the same.
The back? You mean the inside of the door? What's different about it? Paimon didn't notice anything.
Very good indeed. I thought you might not be able to catch that, given that you were sitting in the first row. The back of this door was patterned. Those patterns are now gone, replaced by a smooth wooden board. So, if you put 2 and 2 together, what do you get?
Does that mean there's another box inside this one?
Exactly. All right, let's go. I'll tell you how it works as we head down.
Oh, so there was a passageway under the magic box!
It must have been bloody fast, given the way that you had, 3 seconds. This passage linked the 2 boxes together.
I knew you'd figure out most of it as soon as you saw this place. The 2 magic boxes are positioned right above the 2 entrances of the tunnel.
I said so. I said it was tunnels.
See this flatbed trolley? The box with the lucky audience member in it would be shuttled over to the other side using the trolley.
This trolley can raise and lower and even rotate, ensuring that the box will face in the right direction.
How can it do all of that in 3 seconds, though?
So that's the purpose of the box inside another box.
Precisely. The inner box would descend after the audience member was put inside and be moved along the trolley, all while the outer box would remain on stage as if nothing had ever changed.
So that's how you did it!
You had 3 seconds!
The trolley would store some energy through this device here, with which it would complete the rest of the steps. The audience member would only be able to feel some slight movements in the dark, and by the time she walked out, she would already be back on stage.
Yeah, so what about your side of the trick? Yeah, because you had 3 seconds to move.
Right. You were talking that whole time, and you even came out for a moment near the end.
Ah, yes. A phonograph operated by Lynette was used to achieve that effect. My assistant and I had already scripted our conversation beforehand. When the countdown began, I had already gone to the opposite box via a tunnel using that ladder.
And what about Lynette? Where was she?
I was in the mezzanine space in the back of the box.
Oh, interesting.
That's how we were able to coordinate Linny's lines with the assistant. And, by the way, I was the one who walked out of the box at the end.
Because you're twins.
We are twins. All it takes is a change of clothes and no one can tell who's who. And that's my favorite part of this trick. Only Lynette and I can perform it.
That's so clever. You know, like other twins, but that's fine.
Worked. Wow. Every detail you revealed was more amazing than the last.
Can't believe I didn't figure it out. I forgot they were twins. I can tell a lot of thought was put into this.
Lynette would briefly walk out of the box and then go back in, jumping into the tunnel and escaping before the box on the trolley could finish ascending. And then I walk out of the other box in the audience area, and the trick would be complete. The operative word here being would.
Yeah, people
But
aren't supposed to
as you
die,
saw,
are they?
Cal was in the box, not our audience member. She, on the other hand, mysteriously vanished.
We really don't know how that happened.
If not for that interlude, this would have been an astonishing trick. I probably never would have figured out how you pulled it off. And yet, to think that someone was able to use this magic trick to commit a crime.
Meaning...
If we have a look around, I think we can come up with some more leads.
Meaning, so surely then whoever actually is using this trick to cover up their own thing knows how the trick is done? But then why would you kill the person unless you wanted him out of the way? Because, like, I don't know. So maybe what happened is the box descends, people go to kidnap the woman. Cowley? Is that Cowley? Cowl. Why am I adding a Y? Cowl. He saw the person because he's a prop person, so it makes sense that he'd be down here. And then the people were like, oh shit, so they grab him and shove him into the box. And that is my theory, completely unsubstantial theory.
This is the scene of the crime, so Linny and Lynette are not permitted to stay here. I'll escort them back up.
We can stay
Yes,
there.
of course. No need to be so strict now. I won't disappear into thin air, you know.
Linny, can you take this more seriously, please?
Thanks, everyone. We're counting on you.
Yeah, that's more like it. You're welcome, Lynette. Linny gave a detailed account of how the trick was supposed to work, by using a box inside a box. The idea was for the box containing the audience member to be transported across via a tunnel underneath, and Linny himself would also use a tunnel to get to the other side. Meanwhile, having changed her outfit, Lynette and her assistant would take charge of on-stage interactions. The magic box on stage has an additional layer to its rear, in which Lynette, in Linny's clothes, remained hidden. She would appear at the end of the magic trick and lead people to believe that Linny had been able to instantly move to the box on the other side. Audience side magic box structure. The magic box at the centre of the audience has 2 layers, and beneath it is an entrance to an underground tunnel. This was how the lucky audience member was meant to have been transported without the audience noticing. Okie dokie, let's look for more clues then. This should be the control device for the trolley. It seems to be able to operate automatically. Okay. A ladder is required in order to return to the magic box above. Got it. Don't need to return to the surface level yet.
What's this?
Looks like a hook tied to the end of a rope. Huh? There's all kinds of odds and ends here.
Linny didn't mention this earlier.
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick. But why would it have been left here?
Whatever it is, let's make a note of it first.
Looks like a grappling hook. It's a grappling hook, yeah. A rope that has fallen to the ground. A metal hook has been tied to one end of the rope. Its use is unclear. An escape. A broken vase.
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which, why would there be water here?
Maybe it was for a trick. Okay, maybe everything here was for a trick. I don't think we need to say that every time.
Oh, Paimon knows. It's one of those tricks where you pour water into a jug and then flip the jug over only for the water to disappear. And here's a broken vase. Huh. Did the trolley knock it down while moving?
Maybe it broke in a struggle.
That can't be. The trolley moves along tracks from start to finish. It couldn't have hit the vase at this distance.
But it could break if somebody had either forced the woman out or forced Cowl in and a fight ensued.
Let's note this down too and think about it later.
It's evidence of a struggle. There are many pieces of a broken flower vase on one side of the tunnel. All the water within has been spilled. Judging from the distance, it seems unlikely that it was knocked over by the trolley meant to transport the magic box. I forget which end it's going to, but that totally could have been a fight. Clothing! Oh, it is a fight!
Oh, these are the clothes that the lady chosen from the audience was wearing, right? Her clothes are here, but she's nowhere to be found.
No, Cowley, what? I keep getting his name wrong, I'm sorry. Cowl wasn't the woman, right? That's not where you're going with this. No, that's not what you're trying to imply. Linny didn't mention the guest having a wardrobe change.
Right. And do you really need to do that if you're kidnapping them?
Paimon's glasses.
This is so confusing. Paimon doesn't want to be a detective anymore.
The clothes belonging to Halsey, the lady who went missing, were found in the tunnel. The reason for this remains unknown. The woman was Cowl, I'm calling it. Makes total sense. Makes complete sense. Whoever she was disguised for some reason. High precision is required to complete this magic show. The tracks are perfect for making the I hadn't finished reading, Lumine! For making the trolley stay on its designated course. Okay, thank you. Is there anything else to investigate? Oh yeah, the boxes, okay. All kinds of props and costumes are haphazardly stuffed inside. Okay, that was insightful, thank you. Examine the oh! Escape route! Escape route!
What?
It's a vent! Sus!
It seems someone could fit through here.
That's very sus of them.
Could this have been the suspect's escape
Yeah.
route?
Suspects.
Alone, perhaps. But if they had to pull another person with them, the space would be too narrow.
She did it on her own then.
There are no other ways in or out of here.
And that goes entirely with what I was saying, in that she was in disguise. She was an imposter. Other than those that go through the magic boxes, and Linny and Lynette who are in the 2 magic boxes.
Oh, you're right. Let Paimon write that down.
Tunnel vent. The tunnel vent looks like it could allow 1 person passage, barely, but leaving along with the missing lady seems an unrealistic prospect. Okay, if you say so.
Just about done investigating.
I need to investigate the trolley, Paimon.
Yes. Let's head back up.
No, there's 1 left. The trolley is crucial for transporting the magic box to the other side. The culprits must have used this to execute their plan. Well, I'm certainly glad I stayed down to listen to that, thank you. Okay, other way, okay. Got it, I need to mark that as having been done. Return to the surface. Return to the surface. Return to the surface. I could hear you changing. There we go.
State of the crime scene. Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malus returns. Seems to me that there are several things that don't add up here.
Hi.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape through the vent?
They believe the odds of that are very low, since the vent leads to the Opera House's basement.
Is anyone investigating the Opera House's basement?
The guards have checked the area carefully.
Okay.
No one left through the basement during the performance or after the incident, and no one was found hiding there.
So they still has... But then, if no one left, and the missing woman is still in the Opera House, and there's her clothes on the floor next to the broken vase, and maybe it wasn't a struggle, maybe she broke it while getting out, getting changed, hopping back into the thing, and it's Cowl. That's my leading theory right now. That's stupid.
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then. You know, like the kind you usually see in novels.
Seems so.
The plot thickens. Halsey's disappearance and Cowell's death are both quite inexplicable. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation. All the current evidence points toward Linny and Lynette.
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld unless we make some considerable progress.
You can't guilty until proven innocent, this Farina.
Charges and then trial. So if the charges are upheld, they'll announce a sentence?
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice and the Oratrice will hear statements from both sides.
The Oratrice will too?
That's right. This is how indemnitium is produced. The statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies, and even the audience's emotions will all be projected on the Oratrice. To put it simply, it's as if the Oratrice has its own will, and is a judge in its own right.
Okay, well, I don't trust it.
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice. And not that this has ever happened anyway.
Don't even try to imply that Chief Justice is able to be biased. Fascinating. The whole way round is stupid, but fascinating.
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make his final decision. This, too, will be used by the Oratrice as a reference.
That's too fast.
And, finally, the Oratrice will be consulted by officials. The result it returns is the will of justice itself.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides? Paimon thought Novelet called the shots.
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same judgment, which is why people have great faith in the Chief Justice. Ah, yes, the guards also asked me to convey that none of us will be allowed to leave this place before the trial.
But isn't the trial tomorrow?
Why?
I don't want to sleep on the
Because
floor.
we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies. That makes us persons related to the case.
But it's tomorrow.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties. Or that we might find outside help to disrupt the case.
Yeah, but like
If
that's...
that were not so, it could prove problematic if we happen to spread key information about the case ahead of time.
But we're his attorneys, we're not the jury. We're allowed to go outside. I don't want to sleep in the opera house.
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Yeah, me too, Silver. Me and you together.
Whoa! There's no need for that! Paimon thinks they have a point. That said, are they providing food?
Typical Paimon, I love you. You're hilarious.
Of course. I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all tastes is not in the cards, nor is any guarantee of balanced nutrition.
Are they providing beds? Unless Farina, when she said a day, she meant the end of the day and we'll do the trial tonight. That's not what she meant, is it? I'm tired. I've been out of my depths investigating for minutes. I'm tired. Now's not the time to be picky.
In that case,
I want a bed.
let's just sort out our findings together here. Pity. I was hoping to take you to try some of Fontaine's famous desserts, too.
Oh, we can do that
I mean,
later.
what better way to properly think through our findings than over some tea and sweets?
We can have a date later.
Huh. Breaking out suddenly doesn't seem like such a bad idea after all.
Paimon!
Just kidding. Paimon will still do her best, even if there are no snacks.
The fact that she's still wearing this is hysterical.
What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll have snacks. If we cannot buy some, then we'll simply make some.
Huh? Here? But how?
Understood, Demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
Okay. What's happening? What snack magic do you have?
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove with you?
Oh my god, can I have it?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet
Can we
the
have
Demoiselle's
one?
baking needs whenever the fancy strikes her.
Can we have one in our pocket?
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready.
So serious, I love it.
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it. Please sit tight for a moment. You'll get to taste my awesome snacks soon enough.
These three are quite the interesting group.
Must be I forget how to pronounce that thing. Navi methodically the timing at the sound was so funny.
Good while it was still in the oven.
Oh my god.
It's even better now. Paimon can't stop drooling.
Oh, they look gorgeous. What are they?
Two guys carrying all that stuff around? Paimon thought you'd have them do more during the baking process.
I'm so jealous of that right now.
The entire thing by yourself. Beating the egg whites, grinding almonds, everything.
I was applauding.
Important.
Encouraging smiles.
Yeah, that's it. That is the most important part of baking, is applauding and giving encouraging smiles. That's not quite what Paimon meant, but okay. No, I agree. What happened to my voice then?
Aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress dirty beating egg whites and baking like this?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip tea, ride horses, and play the piano. I just really enjoy making snacks.
Why have we never seen horses? I swear to God, this is the first time we've heard mention of actual horses. Kai is the bloody cavalry captain. Like, can we see horses in Genshin?
Don't underestimate beating egg weights, by the way. It's a real arm workout. You also need to beat them to just the right consistency, or your macarons will crack.
I knew there were macarons.
Give these a try, fresh out of the oven. There's 3 for each of us.
I love macarons. Oh, I want one. I want one.
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send all that sugar to your head. You wouldn't be able to think clearly about the case on a sugar rush, would you?
I'm thinking. I can't remember how to make macarons. Is sugar involved? Did he say? He said egg, sugar, and almonds, right? But meringue is basically just whisked egg whites. So that should be pretty much carb-free, right? So I could have meringue for desserts. Carry on, sorry, I was in a world of my own.
To be served as well. This is Demoiselle's favorite. Strong black tea with a floral fragrance that clears the mind and lifts the spirit.
Oh my god, I want a strong black tea with a floral fragrance. Thank you, why don't you take a break as well? Oh, I want a cup of tea. Oh, I've not had a cup of tea in days.
No need for concern. I'm merely doing as I should.
I drank so much tea when I had COVID.
Down to business. As Paimon mentioned previously, the tunnel seems to be something of a secret chamber.
I need a drink, pardon me.
We can assume that Linny and Lynette were not alone within it. Some criminal also occupied its sealed confines.
Hid in the vent.
The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course, but they lack any logical motive.
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
I need to take an ibuprofen. The vent has got to be of some kind of importance, or they wouldn't have included it, surely. It's not a red herring. It could be a red herring. Carry on. So apart from the twins, we're left with 2 other people, the missing girl and the deceased, who I swear to God are one and the same. I'm telling you, they're the same person.
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between Halsey and the criminal in the tunnel, resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her clothes, and her abduction.
The discarding of her clothes is weird, though.
Chosen from the crowd, she would be too easy to identify if she was still wearing the same clothes.
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but the real trouble is...
There's no evidence that this third person even exists, because this third person does not exist, because Halsey and Cowell are the same person.
True. None of the clues we found thus far support the existence of this third person.
There isn't one.
But the only people left to consider are both technically victims, whether it's the missing girl, Halsey, or poor Cowell.
Or both at the same time.
Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the magic props in order to murder Cowell before making her escape?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, let's be honest, that makes more sense. She tampered with everything beforehand, and then she made the reservation and made sure that the machine would pick her seat. And that's why she discarded her clothes. No, but if she was like... If the woman was a criminal and planned, she wouldn't... You wouldn't tamper with a rope to make sure that fireworks that you knew would ignite would burn it and cause the thing to come crashing down. And you wouldn't tamper with the machine to pick out your number. You wouldn't do all of that and then leave your clothes at the crime scene. That's sloppy. She had no way of knowing how the magic trick worked. See, 'cause I was starting to think, oh my god, is she like a Fatui member or something, and this is how we get into you-know-who. But, like, that would be terrible of the person. I'm not... The two... It doesn't align. It doesn't align. I'm not buying it.
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, she would need to understand the entire trick to pull it off. Nor does she have any motive. The guard said that she has never had any dealings with the Magic Troop's members.
I apologize for the noise.
Were we not thorough enough in our search?
Paimon, we were perfectly...
From the sound of things, this is turning into an impossible case.
Sorry, Paimon, didn't mean to interrupt. We've been perfectly thorough in the investigation so far. What it is that usually you have more than a day to do an investigation. So, like, what we'd do is we'd find this evidence, right? And then we'd look further into it. And that could take a very long time. And that's why we don't go to trial a day after an incident happens. I need a soother.
Macarons are amazing though, Navia. They smell great. They're nice and crisp and super sweet.
I want one. Gimme.
They are my specialty after all. And I see you've already had 5 of them.
Did you eat 2 of mine?
What? 5? Oh, that can't be right. Paimon only counted 3. Honest.
Please don't worry about it. At my age, a few less sweets might actually be a good thing.
No. Being greedy is one thing, but Paimon knows how to count. Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough.
Aww. It's fine if you ate them, you ate them. Oh, it's fine. Everyone knows how much you love eating. No, I don't want to accuse Paimon of eating more than 3. That's rude. I believe that she didn't.
Wait, even you don't believe Paimon?
I do!
How could you?
I do believe Paimon.
Extra macarons, then may they turn into stone in her stomach.
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose one of us might have gotten too engrossed in our chat and eaten them by mistake. No big deal. Malus, set up the stove again if you would.
Huh? What are you doing?
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Oh, there's really no need to do that.
Exactly. We don't want to trouble you.
As you wish, demoiselle.
And I have the egg, sugar, and almonds.
Are they ready?
Well, this really is your hobby, huh?
You didn't finish your sentence, Silver. Navi does a second round of baking. Yield much progress.
Well, that's it for snack time. I'm going to have another look around the area.
Okay.
I don't know what we're looking for yet, but we've still got some time. As attorneys, I suggest the 2 of you think the case over again.
I haven't really thought the case over once.
If you got all tongue-tied on stage during the trial.
All right, thanks for your help and for the snacks.
Yeah, thank you.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malus, it's time to go.
Bye, Silver. Bye,
I'll be back if
Malus.
I find anything new.
Neither Cowell nor Halsey had a motive. But after having talked to Navia, the likelihood of a 3rd person being involved seems very low too. I feel...
It's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense ready for the trial.
I feel like we don't have enough information.
It's probably going to be a long and difficult case. There's no point in worrying about that now. We just need to prepare.
I feel like all we can...
Take Paimon's notes. They should help you review the situation.
Thank you, Paimon. Oh my god, the timing of that was impeccable. Anyway, I feel like all we can really do is hope that the prosecution isn't prepared and that the prosecution fails because we have nothing. All we've done...
design's getting there, but there's still room for improvement.
Exactly.
Better make my finishing touches before the deadline creeps up.
Exactly what I'm saying, Carve. No, listen. All we've done is found... Oh, Carve. Carve, I'm trying to speak. Al-Haytham has them. I'm trying to speak. All we've done is proven that it was probably Linny and Lynette. That's all we've got. And wait till the following day. We're just gonna sleep on the floor then, are we?
It's good to get out and stretch your legs once in a while. People aren't made to stay cooped up inside all the time.
I know. I want to leave, Carve. Okay, it is genuinely the following day. I have actually slept. But they were all going to bed, so why couldn't I? I don't feel like I've slept. Every morning I wake up mad that I'm still tired and forget that I just have chronic fatigue, and I'm never going to feel refreshed in the morning. Oh, what is it like to feel refreshed? What does it feel like to feel like you've slept after you've slept? Couldn't be me. Okay, what are we doing? I've had an entire night, so, like, I can't remember what we're doing. Yeah, I'm not a good attorney. Okay, Linny, you're gonna lose. We don't have a case, though, do we? I feel like we don't actually have a case. We found nothing. Okay, wait till the following day. Yeah. Oh, a thing appeared. A photo opportunity. Hey. Can I get the photo opportunity before the trial starts?
There, but there's still room for improvement.
Yay! That is gorgeous. The design is beautiful. Oh, I love it here. I want to go to the theatre again. I miss it. Okay, I'm going to jump this time. I don't care. Yay. I'm not ready for trial. I'm not. Never your help.
What do we do?
Oh my god, I forgot Paimon was wearing it. Oh, that's only my surprise. Paimon, you cannot wear that through the trial. Are you gonna wear that through the entire trial? Oh my god, please do. Well, I'm glad you have some thoughts, Lumine, because I have nothing. Let's take it step by step.
Good plan. Impossible things don't just happen. We'll get to the truth one way or another.
I love Paimon. Oh my god. Oh yeah, auto. Okay.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stands.
Well, yeah,
Besides,
but
I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
we can support him as much as we want, but we don't want him to go to prison.
Well, we'll be going then.
Wish us luck.
Best of luck to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is more than my contract states.
Well, how did your investigation go?
Really, really bad.
You might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help.
Well, now, don't you all look disappointed. Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty-handed. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence.
Yeah, that's why it's bullshit. You can't prove, like, you can prove that a person did something, but how do you prove that you didn't do something?
But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so easily.
No, see, Farina, because you need to find evidence that Linny and Lynette did do it, and then we have to try and refute the evidence that you bring. We can't bring. How are we supposed to bring proof that they didn't do something? Oh, this is. Yeah, but if we can't prove innocence, that doesn't mean that they're guilty. You have to prove their guilt, for God's sake. Just you wait.
Both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session. Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, Could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Linney clearly reveals the details of the magic trick. Everyone in the audience is stunned.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement to be that you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
Hang on, does that make any sense? That doesn't make any sense. Hang on, so Linney has said that he couldn't have committed the crime because he was in the box and the tunnel the whole time, and therefore he couldn't have abducted Halsey and murdered Cowell. And Farina's refute to that is, you're lying because what you say is true, and you couldn't have abducted Halsey and murdered Cowell if you were in the box the whole time, therefore you weren't in the box the whole time because you did indeed commit the crime. That's not how this works, Farina.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
If he's gonna tell me that he didn't hear the thud, if it turns out, Linney, I swear to God, if you are hiding anything from me, I am supposed to be your attorney. You cannot hide things from me. Oh my God, she has a point. If he was in the box the whole time, then he must have heard the thud. And if he didn't hear the thud, then he wasn't. I'm going to be so upset if he's hiding things from me.
No, nothing.
Oh, for God's sake.
But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
I'm going to cry.
Huh?
Yeah.
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
Yeah, what's not right here, Paimon, is that Linney is clearly lying. I've switched sides now, I'm sorry. He did it, he's guilty. Why did he not? He's hiding something from me. I'm going to have an aneurysm. Linney, you're supposed to tell me things. How could Linney not know about the sound? I'm going to be so upset.
I've heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box, and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
They probably represent the Oratrice's stance on the trial, and right now it's dictating that Linney is lying because he is. Please tell me that the box was like soundproof. No, it wasn't though, because you could hear the. Ah! You weren't there. You weren't there. You weren't there, Linney. I am so disappointed in you right now. Carry on, Lady Farina.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye.
I wasn't expecting her to actually have a point.
His alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid.
I don't think you're allowed to taunt the accused on trial, Farina. Be professional.
Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
Linny and Lynette are part of the Knaves thing. Linny, why didn't you tell me? Surely you should have known that this could have been used against you. Your Honor, I quit. I'm switching sides. I'm done. I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore.
The House of the Hearth?
They're Fatui, and they didn't tell us. Yeah, I'm mad as well.
No wonder they did something like this.
I know, right?
Disappearances were the Fatui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
Your Honor, permission to cry.
What happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Well, sure, but like you have to understand that it's a bit suspicious that you didn't tell me anything. Like, you know how people feel about the Fatui. You know what the Fatui are like. Okay, you must have known that this is information that the opposition could have found out about you, that you should have told me about, so that I could have built a defense in time. We only had a day as it is.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute.
I have to say though that like the cinematography, or the like animated version of the cinematography, whatever you want to call it, is absolutely amazing, and I love it.
Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it.
Well, sure, but you also have to prove him guilty though, Farina, and just... Listen, I'm mad at my client, okay? We're not friends anymore, but saying, oh, you didn't hear a thing, and also you're Fatui, isn't enough substantial evidence. You need to have more evidence than you have, Farina. Yeah, I know, I'm disappointed as well, Lumine.
The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord, I suppose. This was almost too easy. Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
The infighting began long ago.
Why didn't you tell us this before?
Linny and Lynette are Fatui. We could have worked with this if you told us.
Order! Mr. Linny, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true?
There's no doubt about a magician's ability to con others. Given how Linny has concealed his identity, this could all have been a setup beforehand. If you didn't conceal your identity, we could have worked with it. Plus, Child is here in Fontaine along with the other house operatives. There must be some scheme at work here. You should have told me. I've been a victim of such schemes before, and now... You're under permission to have a breakdown.
Please answer my question, Mr. Linny.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't forgive you.
They're true, Your Honor.
Could have worked with this.
I knew it.
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
Yeah, pronounce him guilty. We leave, Paimon. I'm done. I'm finished. Permission to speak. I don't want to, but apparently I have to, Your Honor.
Granted.
My client has withheld some key information. My defense cannot proceed. I don't care what happens to him anymore.
In that case, what is your request?
I request a brief adjournment. There are things that must be discussed.
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
I know.
The defendant deceived their own attorneys.
What is there left to discuss?
I know.
Order! Order, I say!
Yeah.
Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
Thank you, Noviet. You're so kind. Linny, exactly. You've deceived your own attorneys. How is that supposed to look? If we'd have known in advance, we could have worked with it.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought.
Lumini's a better person than I am.
My dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
She's such a theatre kid. I love her. While court is adjourned, you meet with Linny and Lynette backstage in the Opera House. You'd better have a good explanation for this. Yeah, enough of the guilty look. Explain yourself.
This is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up.
Awkward.
I'm sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
You'd better be.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine, sweetie.
Paimon doesn't know where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys.
To be clear, I'm not angry. I'm not mad at you two because you're Fatui. I'm not mad about your past. I don't care. I'm mad that you didn't tell me.
Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad.
Oh my god, she took a thing off.
I'm really sorry. I know you're angry, and reasonably so, but please, let me explain.
God, you can tell Paimon's mad if she's taken a bloody disguise off.
I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset.
It isn't. We literally just had a catch up with our Harbinger bestie. You just needed to have told us.
But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
Okay. I've heard rumours that Archino, or however you pronounce her name, is apparently going to be playable. Obviously, I have no clue if that's correct or not, but it had better not be. Because, listen, there are certain Fatui Harbingers that I feel enough of a redemption to warrant them being playable as the game mechanics work would be perfectly fair. Like, it works for Child, it works for Scaramouche. Sorry. I'm getting me so irate that my throat's coming back up again. Okay, it works for... because Child, okay, he's kind of a bit genocidal, but he fell into the abyss when he was 14, and he went through stuff, and then his parents sold him out to the Fatui because they couldn't handle him. Okay, I get it. Scaramouche had absolutely no chance at all. You know, he isn't even a... well, hardly any of them are humans, let's be honest. But, like, he was a puppet. He was created, and then he was discarded, and he hasn't... same reason that Humagear gets certain passes that humans don't, because they haven't grown up and learned things and stuff. Him having a kind of redemption works, and still his personality is the same as his child's. It's fine. I feel like they could have explained away having Dottore even playable, because I mean, they can't now, but if they really, really wanted to, they could have gone the route of a segment gone wrong or something. Pantalone maybe could be redeemable. He doesn't have a vision, but I mean, neither does Noviet, so clearly that doesn't matter anymore. Like, he grew up in poverty in the nation that's all about, like, you know, whose Archon created Mora, and he grew bitter, and now he's there, and he's kind of like the most regular Harbinger. There's nothing quote-unquote special about him that there are other people. I feel like, you know, maybe from what little we know, maybe he could be redeemable enough. But the person who kidnaps orphans and grooms them into child soldiers is not a person who I'm willing to forgive. It doesn't matter what her backstory may or may not be. It doesn't matter what we learn about her. I don't want to know. There are certain lines that have to be drawn. That's why I'm saying that if they wanted to make Dottore playable, it would have had to have been like a segment gone wrong and not, you know, the one that we know, because he is known to have experimented on kids. That is a line that cannot be crossed. And grooming kids into child soldiers is not a line to be crossed. I saw someone on Twitter talking about how, like, I don't know, hypocritical Dottore fans are, because we're like, oh, we can, you know, forgive. Nobody's forgiving him, but it's like we can look past him experimenting on kids and stuff, but then when it's Arlecchino, suddenly it's, ew, she's a groomer. We're like, yeah, she is, though. And the difference is that it didn't look like Dottore, like it didn't look like the Sumeru quest was going to try and redeem Dottore. We were able to just enjoy him as an absolutely despicable person with no concern for trying to explain away his actions. But here, it really seems like they are trying to go the route of forgiving Arlecchino, and that's why it's different. If she was unapologetically bad, and we didn't have to worry about the potential of her going through some kind of clunky redemption, then we wouldn't care so much. Does that make sense? Okay, fine. Tell me about how you want to save people. It's bullshit. It had better be that they're being manipulated to believe that they're trying to save people, and not that that's actually. It's even fine if Arlecchino genuinely believes that she's saving people, but she isn't, and she does not deserve a redemption enough to become playable. If we could have playable villains who were just bad, then that would be great, but so far we really haven't had that. Carry on.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face.
I need a drink, I'm sorry for the noise.
I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends.
We could still become good friends. We're good friends with one Harbinger. I don't know if Paimon would allow me to say that we're good friends with Scaramouche, but still, we're friends with Fatui. Sometimes it's fine. Lily and Lynette being Fatui doesn't suddenly mean that we can't be friends. What means we can't be friends is that you're lying to us.
That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you.
Okay, well, you did,
chose
though.
to hide some details instead. The truth
Lied.
is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to.
What kind of bullshit excuse is that, Linny? But how can we know this isn't all just another lie?
Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point.
I am struggling to trust you.
You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
See, here's where I'm struggling, because I firmly believe that Linny and Lynette are not responsible for what happened on stage, but you've made it almost impossible for me to defend you, because deceiving your attorneys is not a good look. Like I keep saying, if you'd have pulled us aside beforehand and said, hey, listen, I need to tell you, we're actually, we're Fatui, but we didn't do it. But, please, if we'd have had this conversation before, then we could have gone, oh, okay, we will keep that in mind when building our defense, so that if Farina finds out and brings it up, we know what to say.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
We're having a hard time.
Well, you both say that, but...
Explain the other issue first. Where did you actually go while the trick was being performed? Yeah, that's the other thing. You led us to believe that you were there the whole time, but you weren't. So I'm there defending you about something that you know full well is a lie. This was already against us, given that we only had a day. But now you're lying to us and you're giving us false information. So how do you expect us to do our jobs? If you're lying, how do I know what else you've lied about at this point?
Right. Let's hear your answer first, and no lies now.
Of course. I'll answer any question you ask.
Okay, so answer that one then.
We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick with the objective of getting close to the core.
Okay, so why didn't you tell me?
You needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
Look, I understand why you might not have wanted people to know about this, but surely, in comparison to kidnap and murder, you probably would have just gotcha. Say you would have gotten a slap on the wrist. I don't know, in this bloody nation. But telling us this, explaining that, oh, you couldn't have kidnapped and murdered somebody because you were, in fact, doing this, would have proven your innocence, Linny.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
And what did you find?
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice.
Whose?
Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought.
Okay.
After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
See, so you couldn't have done it because you weren't there, so why didn't you tell us?
That explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Why do you want to understand how the Oratrice operates?
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course.
Oh,
we
of
must
course.
know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time.
Don't you give me a laugh like that,
Linny.
Linny.
Proceed under this cloud of mistrust either.
Okay, but you did, so...
But like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
I trust the Fatui to a certain extent. Well, I trust some people in the Fatui. Being Fatui doesn't mean I don't trust you, but I don't trust you. Didn't I say right from the start that I don't trust him, actually? And then I changed my mind while I was wrong. Is Femine Fatui? No! He's nice.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
I don't care about the child anymore. I want to find out about Femine. Oh, I want him so badly, but I don't want to wish on the next banners. I'm gonna cry. I believe in the facts. Which I now know. Thank you, Linny. I will defend you from these charges. I believe that judgment will be dispensed as it should.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
To be clear...
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two.
To be clear, I'm doing this to win against Farina, who I love, but she needs to be taken down a peg or two. I'm doing this so that I can beat Farina, not because I want to defend you anymore.
If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously watertight defense.
Actually, we already have the key evidence we need.
Huh?
The adjournment's almost over. Let's go back. That was a very fast hour.
Oh, Paimon thinks she gets what you mean.
Linny claims that he headed to the chamber containing the Oratrice core upon entering the tunnel and did not witness the crime taking place and thus did not hear the thud. Got it. Linny claims to have heard a mysterious voice within the chamber that houses the Oratrice core within the upper house's underground structures. Alright, let's go back. Continue the sodding trial. You'd better be grateful for this, guys. The brief adjournment ends and the nail-biting trial reconvenes.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linny acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linny's perspective.
Based on the opposition's account of events, you can identify loopholes in their statement. Oh, this is exciting! Use evidence and clues obtained during the investigation to refute any erroneous assertions of fact and replace them with new inferences. I'm gonna let Farina talk while I numb my throat. Give me a second. Use your refutations to convince the audience and obtain more support from the people. The Oratrice will display such shifts clearly. When you find and refute all incorrect content, you can complete the cycle of refutation and unveil the truth. I love this mechanic, oh my god.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel.
And okay, Linny entered the tunnel.
When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that the sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her.
That was a big vase, though. Does Linny have the strength to lift that vase?
At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linny red-handed. So Linny proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box. Afterward, Linny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowell's death would be ruled an accident. And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description of the events?
Yep, substantial.
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. What Linny experienced and what he saw.
The key to refuting her order of events is the actual truth. Got it. Okay, identify loopholes. Linny entered the tunnel as the countdown began. Linny claims that he headed to the chamber upon... I have skipped lines. Linny claims that he headed to the chamber containing the Oratrice core upon entering the tunnel and did not witness the crime taking place and thus did not hear the thud. I mean... Yeah, no, we're not there yet, are we? I'm just like, voices. Strange sound. hang on. Surely that's... Oh, yeah, that's this, isn't it? Linny claimed that he heard nothing. The reason he heard nothing was because he was there.
According to Linny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey.
Yeah, okay. Right, we can't refute that because he did indeed enter the tunnel, right? Linny was not in the tunnel at the time. The existing... Carol walked in on Linny, so the latter knocked him out with the vase, leading to the victim's death. The existing evidence indicates that when Linny returned to the tunnel, the crime had already taken place, and all Linny saw was... The clothes belonging to Halsey, the lady who went missing, were found in the tunnel. The reasons were made unknown. Linny must have been very confused when he saw them. Is that evidence, though? Okay, yeah, Linny was not there at the time. The voice, maybe?
Linny went to the room that contains the...
Oh, sorry.
Reese's core. This is the actual truth.
Okay, I need to pause a second while I take my meds. Oh, I hate taking iron tablets. They taste like blood. Okay, carry on. Carl walked in on Linny, so the latter knocked him out with the vase. The existing evidence indicates that when Linny returned... Okay, so I can use his statement. Okay.
Linny did not take part in the underground altercation. He only witnessed traces of the aftermath.
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say!
Go ahead, Ace Detective Paimon!
When the countdown started, Linny did indeed go into the tunnel. But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately.
Oh my god, I love the delivery of these lines.
The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore, he's innocent.
In your face, Farina. We have no evidence of this but his statement, but still. Successful refutation! Yay! Oh my god.
Paimon actually managed to say all that. Wasn't it awesome?
She pulled the thing back on. That's so funny. You did amazing, Paimon.
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
Right, yeah, see, this could actually also be a cover-up. Just because he didn't do it doesn't mean he doesn't know about it. But, God, what were you saying?
That's right.
Moreover, I believe my opposition's reasoning is flawed.
My reasoning?
The onstage equipment was clearly tampered with in a premeditated fashion. However, you say that Cowell bumped into Linny by chance.
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
I can't believe she's still wearing this.
He has a point.
That's right, you tell him! And that's why they're partners of mine. They've managed to turn things around. Oh, well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims?
Do you happen to remember how you refuted Linny's alibi initially?
Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? Why do you ask? You're saying that he wasn't?
Your claim has now become my weapon. Choose the most reasonable evidence. Okay, so we need to read all of this. Which is the evidence that Linny wasn't in the tunnel when the crime took place? Why do I only have 8 out of 9? Did I not investigate something? No! What did I miss? Oh, are you just telling me that it's... Well, oh, no. It's any of these 3. Okay. That makes it easier, thank you. So which evidence is that he wasn't there? The strange sound during the magic show. That's not evidence, though. She's a famous painter. Yeah, that's irrelevant. No one left. That's also irrelevant. Nick, yeah, but Joe, this isn't evidence. Yeah, none of these. What did I not investigate? I'm so upset. She shouldn't have let me move on without investigating something, surely. Unless something new is going to pop up. I don't know. Strange sound during the magic show. During the switching performance, there was an audible thump that many audience members heard. That's not evidence that he wasn't there. No one left the opera house during the magic show, and after the incident happened, only those... None of these things are evidence, surely. This is the only one that's remotely relevant.
That's right! Linny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange during the performance.
Am I overthinking it?
This means that when the crime happened, Linny had already entered the basement via the vent. The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! How do you like that?
Well played. To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
The murderer was... We don't know who the murderer was, do we? Select the gear icons in the interface, check the corresponding case questions. Select answers and fill all the empty gears to verify the correctness of your deduction. If you have made mistakes, you must make another selection from the remaining options. Once you have answered all the questions correctly, you can complete this logic chain. The guard's investigation report indicates that the fireworks released near the end of the show ignited and burned through the rope suspending the water tank above the stage. This caused the water tank to fall and kill Cowell in the box. If Linny is no longer under suspicion, only the other members of the troupe would have been able to tamper with the props. What was the original plan for the performance? Linny gave a detailed account. I wish this was voiced. Linny gave a detailed account of how the trick was supposed to work by using a box inside a box. The idea was for the box containing the audience member to be transported across via a tunnel underneath, and Linny himself would also use this tunnel to get to the other side. Having changed her outfit, Lynette and her assistant would take charge of onstage interactions. What evidence is there that the selected audience member was involved in the incident? The clothes belonging to Halsey, the lady who went missing, were found in the tunnel. The reason for this remains unknown. Who was the only person who could have committed the crime? see. Select any clue to view detailed information. Okay, I'm not selecting.
Could there have been a third person involved? Is that really a possibility?
Did we not rule out a third person?
Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Or did she have her own scheme all along?
No, because that wouldn't make sense with the broken vase.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
But he died. Unless it went wrong. Are we suspecting the deceased now? That seems disrespectful. But I mean, 'cause she couldn't have tampered. He's the only one that could have tampered with it. Alright, why not? Hypothesis correct. Okay.
Huh? That can't be right. Are you serious?
Yes.
The killer was, in fact, Cowell, the deceased!
Oh, is that so? How interesting! Let's hear your reasoning then.
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim.
I have no idea. We have no proof for this as well, do we? How can we envisage Linny as having been unable to interfere with the crime? Okay, well, we can do that.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time.
How can we envisage Linny as having been unable to interfere with the crime? How can I prove there was an altercation in the tunnel?
Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. So, there must have been some fear that she would attract attention.
Not that. No.
The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal.
Yes, is there anything about the broken vase?
It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well.
Oh, and that's the exit thing.
No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. So, where would the criminal have wanted to take Halsey?
I've just realised the things have drawings on them. Yeah, this. Who is the prime suspect currently? Well, it's you now, isn't it?
His name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
Where did the missing Halsey go through the vent?
It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well.
Okay, not inside the vent. Well, yeah, but she didn't go in her clothes, did she?
Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. So, there must have been some fear that she would attract attention.
Surely that's the only answer.
For both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well.
No, she changed clothes so that we wouldn't recognise her. I'm confused. I don't know.
So, there must have been some fear that she would attract attention.
Oh no, but he heard a voice, so...
both people to fit into
Vent. No, I knew it. Okay, so it's that then. How? I'm confused. No one left.
Entered or left the opera house through its entrances.
The criminal must have... Okay. Carl had all the means to commit the crime at his disposal. The strange noise could likely have been the sound of Cowell and Halsey struggling. Then he was not in the tunnel for 1 minute. This would have given given time for Cowell to bring Halsey out of the magic box in the audience stands. But according to the girl's testimony, no one entered or... Okay. Exiting the box would have been in full view of the audience, pretty much guaranteeing that they would be discovered.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
Or was I supposed to get it wrong then? Where in the world did Halsey go?
I see how it is. So this was all just a bluff. And here I thought you had something to show for it. But it seems you're still far from the truth.
Because we've had 1 day and 1 hour to investigate.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider a different track?
Okay.
Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the magician's initial design.
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely.
They're the same person.
It's a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Escaping from the water tank? Could it have been the water? Oh, are we applying actual magic? I was thinking too logically. Okay.
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward delay in the performance.
Okay, I feel like...
The defense is unable to make further effective arguments. We will move on to the next stage of the trial.
No, I feel like we have a thing. Hold on a second.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
Where did the missing Halsey go?
The vase was not broken by chance. It was used to cover important evidence. The water.
Oh, Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind.
Oh, yeah, that did happen, didn't it? Well, I don't remember things.
Similar method, where a person could be transformed into water.
Just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous you sound at the moment. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic trick.
I request that we examine Cowell's personal effects. We might find something there.
Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend Linny already knows this truth very well. Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real. We're talking about two completely different things.
Even so, I trust the Traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the focal points that don't make sense. Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress.
Thank you.
Guards, Please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased, Cowell.
You're the only reasonable person in this entire room, thank you.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone post-haste. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are water from the primordial sea.
The primordial sea?
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appears many times. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by sufficient evidence.
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's just a coincidence, isn't it?
Huh. If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was targeting that girl... Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two, with me, quick!
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results. But we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues.
That was amazing. Thank you for gracing us, Your Grace.
Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found.
So that's how he uses that cane that we saw in the drip marketing. That's cool.
Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm honored, Your Honor.
If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal hook! That one didn't make sense at all. Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
Water from the primordial sea. The liquid the guards found in Cowell's luggage seems to have the ability to dissolve Fontanians into water. Who is the prime suspect currently? It is Cowell.
His name is Cowell, Linny's assistant.
What item did the culprit use to control the timing of the dissolution? To control the timing? Oh, can I say? Okay. What item did the culprit use to hide the mechanism beneath the crime? The water tank.
Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. I remember there was something else
Okay, maybe
in the
not.
layer of that box. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of triggering mechanism.
What item did the culprit use to dissolve Haley?
The
This.
water from the primordial
Halsey.
sea should already have been prepped before Halsey entered the magic box. The rope that strung the water tank up was lit by the fireworks and cut. As such, the focus here is on the water and not the tank.
What item did the culprit use to hide the mechanism beneath the crime? Yeah. This then, surely, right?
Now it seems like the hook rope was... The rope that strung the water tank up was lit by the fireworks and cut. As such, the focus here is on the water and not the tank.
Yeah, because you did the thing to drop the thing and then the thing, yeah. I'm very articulate, I belong in court. So, what item did the culprit use to control the timing of the dissolution?
I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick.
It's the rope, okay? What item?
Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. I remember there was something else.
If you could tell me there's something else, that would be wonderful, I mean. I'm going to stop the recording and continue because it's been an hour and I don't trust it. Okay, I'll continue. I don't trust it to not fail on me. We've been going for an hour. This is going to be a long video. Oh my god. Don't jump scare me like that.
Cowl would tamper with the water tank rope, and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey. Afterward, Cowl would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel, and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
Thank you.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I falsely accused an innocent person? What a humiliation.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with admitting that you were wrong.
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led to Cowl's death. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered new evidence. I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this case. And we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
What?
That can't be.
Oh, I see. Well, how wonderfully comedic to have your own counterattack only to come back and wound you.
This is painful.
Does this not clear all doubt?
No, because it could have been planted.
Dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this performance to a swift close.
I'm not genuinely sorry.
Take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent.
I'm not genuinely complaining, by the way. I'm having so much fun here.
Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowl then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Cowl out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, it does seem that the famed Fatui is quite the cold-blooded and ruthless organization. Am I right, Mr. Linny?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here. Is this the end of the road?
No, there has to be something we can say.
Oh no. Paimon can't think of anything either. It doesn't look like there's any way around this. Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move. Why did this have to happen now?
I think we've all seen enough now, and we have ample witnesses to my flawless reasoning. I believe this is indeed the finale. Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, move... excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout, and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Oh, come on, don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick, one that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes. Please, do the honors, Mr. Linny, if you would be so kind.
What in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Lady and Lynette, give it another go. Don't worry, Spina di Rasula has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But, as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
Go on, allow it.
I understand.
Allow it, Noviette.
And voila.
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't true after all?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me, and then before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Cowl. I admit it.
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there, and I'd never been caught before. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Linny was the one who caught me in the act.
Were you the one we were chasing all the way back then? I'd forgotten about that.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were the thief. Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was on to me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
If they practice hand at concealment, probably a professional thief could make it work.
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, I swear it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
Yeah, now it's time to refute the Hydro Archon's previous reasoning.
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lillian's perspective.
Cool. In your face, Farida. Linny did enter the tunnel, okay. Halsey discovered Cowell planned to use the prepared apparatuses for the magic tricks to dissolve Halsey inside the magic box. As Halsey has appeared completely unharmed before all of our eyes, Farina's conjecture would no longer hold water, no pun intended. And how would Halsey have reacted when the water from the primordial sea suddenly began to trickle in? She'd have bloody left, right? Yeah, I haven't got the foggiest idea. It's one of those two, right? So she was hit by the water, she left the box. A strange sound. There was a switching. During the switching performance, there was an audible thump. Okay, let's move on to something else. Infighting between Linny and Cowell, Linny wanted all the credit and glory and wanted to get rid of all his partners, as Halsey has appeared completely unharmed for our eyes, blah de blah blah, okay. But there is evidence proving that a fight did indeed break out in the tunnel. I feel these aren't loopholes, though. I'm not convinced I'm going to get this one right. Like, I understand what happened, but linking everything together is proving to be a bit more difficult. Linny knocked Cowell out, then using the method used to dissolve young girls, he got rid of Cowell and disguised this as an accident as blah blah blah. After the fight, what did Halsey do? She switched clothes.
Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time. Just what one might expect of an experienced thief.
So how would she have reacted? Yeah, no, she would have ran out of the thing, right?
The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lillian's attempt to break out when she was frightened.
And so that is this.
The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but was smashed during the struggle between Lillian and Cowell.
And it's Ace Detective time on time!
Yay, my favourite time!
Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian panicked.
So the person whose ticket she stole would have been the original victim, right?
Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicked the door open, producing the thud we all heard. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lillian had not dissolved.
Because she's not from Fontaine.
She did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way in by stealing a ticket. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect, he tried to force Lillian back into the box. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on top, knocking Cowell out and putting him in the box. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended.
Refute that, Farina.
She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the Opera House these last 2 days.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
And we blamed Paimon.
All the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to light.
Ah, so that's the whole story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
He's so tired, I love him.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No. I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow. Look at that. She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cal, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list.
Oh my god, is he gonna like walk through what happened like Criminal Minds? Oh, that was always my favourite part of Criminal Minds, when they'd like walk through and it's like the thing is happening around them. I love that.
With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own final victim. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent. While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately, this case, at least, can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final decision. As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
You did brilliantly, Paimon.
Great work, partners.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, let's not celebrate just yet.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dared to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, But you, yes? I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent mora off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about. The...
Did he just dissolve? He turned into water. No way. Okay.
No longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
Oh my god, it just doesn't end, does it? I have nothing is found on the scene apart from the liquid left behind after the water dissolved. Oh, it just doesn't end.
So, we're just going back now?
The problem seems to have been solved for now. We're not needed here anymore.
That's true, but...
Traveler, Paimon, please wait.
Linny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end. Even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui.
I just didn't want to see anyone be falsely accused.
I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all.
Oh, piss
That
off.
was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering, would you mind hearing a story? It's about my past.
I would very
Back
much
when
so,
our
yes.
parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
You know, I'd be so excited by all of this if there wasn't the possibility of Arlecchino getting a redemption. If it wasn't for that looming fear in the back of my mind, I would be enjoying this almost as much as I enjoyed Tottori in the last one. Not as much because, I mean, he's my favourite, but still, I'd be so excited to learn about all of this stuff if it wasn't for the fear that they're just going to ruin her and not actually let her just be a villain. I could be wrong, and then that's on me for not enjoying myself right now.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care, and they have their ways of escaping the eye of the law.
What happened after that?
I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
I understand why Linny and Lynette would view the knave as some kind of, like, saviour. I get that. But narratively speaking, we can't have that. There's a difference between the characters believing something and the narrative actually pushing something as being true, and the former's fine, but the latter, I'm not having it.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans.
Rescued.
Father, I mean, the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer.
Yeah, she saw that you were a vulnerable orphan.
The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
Yeah, I don't care. The knave is after the Gnosis, isn't she?
She has her own plans.
With the Gnosis. I know how this goes by now.
From the Saritsa to first use the Gnosis's power once she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy. All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are from Fontaine.
Arlecchino.
We won't give up on defending our homeland. To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis, everything is aimed at dealing with that prophecy.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't trust you.
It's all right. I understand. The only thing I can do is relate all this to you. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the House, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my best to help you, as plain Linny.
I'm not mad that you're Fatous, I'm mad that you lied to me, so yeah, goodbye.
Bye, Linny!
Oh, Paimon is just too pure for this. You made Paimon sad, I hope you know that. Okay, well, I think that's enough for this monstrous video. I'm exhausted. We are not friends anymore. Civvy.